Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd, and we are doing our LWORD Season 2, Episode 5 spoiler review. Heads up, I am sinusy, so if my voice is going out, I also did a lot of voiceover work yesterday, so hopefully my voice is going to be fine, but I've been going on 18 hours now of nonstop working, so plus the live stream I did earlier, so I'm going to do my best, guys, to make it so my voice is not going out. I got a big thing of water. I'm trying. I have had tea. So we will see what happens because there's so much. There's so much. Now, I did not watch the trailer for the next episode. Something happened in my Showtime app and it just lagged and it would not play. So it started and it just didn't go any further. So if you want to put down in the comments below when we start talking about the series on what happens next week, please do that. But just know that I have not watched the trailer. Okay, so let's jump in. Our girls and our boys are it's a mess. There's a lot to this episode. A lot of things happen with a lot of different people. But first of all, let's applaud the fact that Micah is once again in this episode. I'm telling you guys, I think the writer's room and the showrunner heard us when we were like, why the hell did you have Micah in season 1 if you only were going to use him in a handful of episodes? Micah's in every episode. It's almost like, where's Waldo now? I literally am like, where's Micah? So Micah is in everything. So I am happy about this. And speaking of Micah, we'll talk about the big group family therapy session with Angie and her family in a second. But our boy Micah got it on with Maribel. And we knew it was going to happen. And what's so interesting to me is he came home and he was feeling in his feelings, thinking that he was not doing a good job, because of all the drama and stuff that happened. And he texts Maribel saying, can you come over? And she ditched a potential date to come over to Micah's place because Micah needed her to talk about nothing and eat vegan pizza and blah, blah, blah. And Maribel initiated it, kissed Micah first. We actually got to see some of their sex scene too. This is what I love about the LWORD. The LWORD has done some things in this episode specifically that I thought was amazing. We get to have representation across the board with disability, with transgender, with all of that. Even when Maribel and Micah were getting it on, and he's like, "Can I?" And Maribel's like, "You sure you don't remember how?" And I'm like, sass. I love Maribel and Micah, so I love this pairing. I'm here for it. Love it. All right, so Finley. Finley basically at the beginning of this episode was getting over being plastered. Apparently it's been 2 days since Sophie came back. Sophie comes in and tries to talk to her, and she's like, she admits that, she wasn't completely honest about where she was, and she was with Danny, and Finley's like literally blowing her off. And at first I thought, okay, maybe this is Finley's wake-up call to stop chasing Sophie. And when Finley gets to work, I kind of feel like Finley is kind of treated badly by a lot of people. Because at first, when Shane asked how Finley was doing and Finley started going into it, and Shane's like, it's rhetorical. I'm like, wow. It's the way that, she said it was like, oh, okay. And even Tess kind of blew her off a little bit in the beginning. But Tess gave Finley some advice and said, find somebody who knows your worth. And I'm like, yes. It's exactly what you should tell Finley, because pining over Sophie is not good. So Finley meets a girl at the bar, and then we see later on they let Shane and Tess let her leave with this girl to see where it goes. And Finley took her back to her place, which she shares with Micah and Sophie. And she basically was getting it on, and Sophie came home. And for once, I was like, Sophie had no leg to stand on to get jealous, to be upset, because she literally was sleeping with Danny last week, even though she told Sophie that they were not back together, which is fine. She still did it. So, and technically speaking, you and Finley are not a couple and you wanted to be friends. So, like I said, this is a very turbulent relationship. And I don't feel like they have a relationship. I love them as friends, but I think that they probably still be good as friends. But I honestly do not want Finley and Sophie to be together whatsoever. just the thing. But Finley is still very much in her hope and desperation for Sophie to change her mind and see that, she's worthwhile. And, that her saying she just wants to be friends is just a fluke, which honestly, guys, we all know when Sophie tells Finley, I just want to be friends, she backtracks all the damn time. Like, do you want to go out to dinner? She brought sushi back to the house and, because they were going to have a sushi dinner, kind of like a sushi dinner date. But she left it on the table, which, I don't think she put it in the fridge. That's really messed up. Sushi's expensive. But she saw, Finley getting on with this girl and then went to bed. And I'm like, I don't feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. I just don't. I really, really don't. And speaking of Sophie, Danny, who's been spending a lot of time with Gigi, actually admitted to Gigi that she finally realized that her and Sophie are not meant for each other. So I don't know if this is her officially closing the door on this relationship, but that's how it sounded to me. And Gigi is absolutely attracted to Danny, and Danny's kind of putting on those I'm attracted to you vibes too. But I'm gonna tell you this, I love Bette. She's my girl. She was pissing me off a lot in this episode because she gets in her feelings and she's like one of those people that reacts before she thinks, which is really weird because she's highly intelligent. She's very intelligent and can be logical with everything else, but she has a short fuse. And I get it. It's a lot of trauma. If you're an OG LWORD fan, she went through a lot of crap. Her dad was homophobic. Of course, Kit died of an overdose. And of course, her mother abandoned her. So she has all these issues. And when they had the group therapy session, she kind of, brought that out. She admitted that her mother left her. And, Carrie was trying to connect with her on that, saying, well, she was adopted and she went and met her biological mom. And, she felt like another part of her, pretty much was explained and she felt close. And now, it's like something that gave her closure. And Bette's like, no, I tried it, F that. So like Bette is just like, close the hell off. And she definitely is emotionally inept in a way so what I mean by that is Gigi, for instance, we all know what Gigi is for Bette, but Bette is too classy to say it. Gigi is literally a one-night stand that has been going on too long. And she only wants to be with Gigi for the sex, to distract her from her problems, her feelings, and what she really wants or doesn't want. And Gigi is a very perceptive character. She gets it. She gets it. She knows exactly what it is. She tried talking to her that morning when she woke up, and like the way Bette was treating her, she was like literally on her laptop, barely paying attention to her whatsoever. Now let's talk about the parallel between Bette and Jordy, because Jordy essentially was doing the same thing to Angie with her phone, but we'll talk about that in a second too. But anyway, so Gigi knows what Bette wants from her, and the clock on that is leaving. The more time that Gigi spends with Danny, the more time she sees that Bette isn't worth it. As a matter of fact, Bette even tried to get her to come over, and she's like, sorry, I'm busy. So I'm like, all right. And for me, it would have been a red flag when, she's like, I got to go. You can stay in my apartment as long as you want, but I have to go meet a friend. And, today. And Bette's response to that was fast. That was so snarky and like so bitchy, So I was in my feelings about it. Bette's being like, again, I like Bette, but Bette can be a bitch. Let's be honest. She just can. She's controlling as hell. She's an A-type. So yeah. Bette wants the freak. She wants Pippa. She wants Pippa. She even talked about, what did she say? She give her soul or cut her boobs off, something like that, just to be able to represent her. She wants Pippa. I also think so. Okay. They addressed something in the group family therapy session with Micah. Now, I love that they did this. This is something I wish they had done on shows like The Bold Type, who have, mixed characters, especially mixed characters that are half Black and half white. Like me, I'm Black, white, and Native. My dad looks completely Black. His father was Native American. Mother was Black. My mother was 100% Scottish, from Scotland. I look very effing ambiguous, and I am literally like mistaken for everything under the sun. And what I loved about this episode is when they were in therapy And Angie was saying that she wanted to donate her kidney or see if she was a match to donate her kidney to her donor. And Bette flipped the hell out. And, they had the whole thing where Tina had to talk Angie down because that's what she does and bring her back. And Angie was allowed to speak her truth. She talked about the fact that with her donor, she can, relate to him because she's darker, even though she's mixed, she's a darker mixed person. So she doesn't have she's not ambiguous like I am. And so she doesn't go through the same entitlement that Bette does, which I do. I've never been pulled over. I've never had experience for being part Black because people don't generally know what the hell I am. And I've been saying this on my channel, guys. I've been saying it in my mixed erasure videos. I've been saying it from the conception of this channel that I have entitlement because I'm ambiguous. It does not take away my Blackness. It does not take away me being POC. It's just that I love that the L Word was the first effing show I have seen, and I am almost 45 years old, that has said this and did not make it something else, like how they treated this crap on the Bold Type. But Angie told her mother, I feel closer to I basically want to be close to my donor because I can relate to him, and I can't talk to you about racism because you don't get it on the same level as me. You don't experience it on the same level as me because, as Bette says, people look at her and think she's Italian, but doesn't mean it takes away her Blackness. No, but it means it takes away the fact that you will never understand what it's like to have somebody persecute you for being dark skinned, for being Black, for, you won't have a BLM moment like Angie will for being darker. So I was like, I literally was dropping the mic. I'm like, well said, girl. I was so happy that they put that in there because that is very rare. And the fact that the L Word was the show that did that was amazing to me. So they got a gold star for that conversation because that is true life. On the day, though, they're going to let Angie test to see if she is a match. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's talk about the other part of the therapy session with Carrie. I like Carrie, but now I'm starting to see why Carrie's neurotic with Tina. Because Tina is literally carrying a torch for Bette. She's carrying that torch. I don't care what anybody says. She literally defends Bette to Carrie regardless of what happens. It is insane. Bette was being kind of a bitch to Carrie. Carrie was just trying to express herself. And before she could even get out what she was actually saying, Bette's like, attack, 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 attack. And so when Carrie talks to Tina about it, Tina's like, oh, she's the mother of my child. Don't talk to her that way. And Carrie's like, okay, I don't get this. When am I going to be, higher up on the list, basically? Because I know Angie has to be number one, but why am I number three? Because basically it's Angie, Bette, then me. And I mean, they're getting married. And Carrie's like, it's not fair because for me, you're number one. And I'm like, that right there. We haven't seen Tina a lot, guys, but she's not wrong. She is not wrong. And I love how Tina was like, oh, no, she called your ass out. I mean, I'm sorry. It's true. She came at Carrie so fast when she basically was talking about how horrible Bette was being. But when Bette was being a bitch to Carrie, Tina didn't say a damn thing. They're not going to get married. And that's sad because I really like Rose O'Donnell in this role. This is probably one of the best roles I've seen her in. I like Carrie. Carrie is very cool. She's understanding. Angie likes Carrie. They get along very well. From what I can tell, Carrie understands where Angie is coming from. I mean, this is all Bette. I'm like, so it's a thing. But that whole session, that whole therapy session is just what we said was going to happen last week, was a mess. It was a mess. But at least at the end of it, we did see a little bit of closure, but we also saw, and Carrie saw it too, when Bette was being emotional and Tina grabbed Bette's hand and Carrie saw it. Yeah, there's no way. I do not foresee this working out, guys, but I mean, that is just on me. That's my opinion. I don't see it. I want Carrie to stay on as a character, but as Tess told Finley, please find somebody who knows your worth. So that's how I feel about that. So let's move on. So back to Danny. Gigi took Danny to the jail to talk to her dad and his lawyer. And so basically when they were going out buying apartments or looking for houses, the dad slipped in a document for her to sign, making her the acting CEO of the company. And the Danny was given so much attitude. Like she was talking to her dad like he was like this. And she's like, well, you need to do something for me. You want me to be the CEO of this company. And the only reason she said that because all the family assets are tied up in the company, which means they would have nothing if the company went under. But she's like, you want me to help you? Then be honest with me. Tell me, basically tell me what happened. And of course he denied it and said he was, it was other people's fault. It wasn't, he just trusted the wrong people, blah, blah, blah. And so she's going to run the company. But I love how she was like, if you don't tell me the truth and I find out you're lying, I will burn this place to the ground. And I think she'll do it. 1,000,000,000%. I think she'll do it. So yeah, Danny's the CEO and that's a mess. That is a mess. I'm really interested to see. I will hope they show her at work. I want to see her work life, the work-life dynamic, knowing that her dad's in jail and she's the boss. And people are worried about losing their jobs and they have to respect her, even though, the dad's in jail for potentially fraud and all kinds of things with the company. So, I mean, everything about that is messed up. It's just messed up. And like I said, I'm just curious, but props to Danny because the way Danny was talking to her dad, I was like, well, she's not playing. But again, this is also bringing her closer to Gigi. And Gigi, I love when she asked Gigi near the end of the episode if she was flirting with or coming on to her. And the way Danny said it was almost like she was accusing her. And Gigi's like, no, I just like your energy. And I'm like, now my spouse was watching this with me. And of course, River was like, they're gonna fuck before the end of the episode. And I'm like, nope, they were the one couple that didn't. And I'm like, but I thought that was funny as hell. But yeah, you can see that, Gigi's got those smexy eyes. So it's only a matter of time before, it's going to happen. All right. So let's go on to, I'm trying to get some of the smaller parts out. Let's talk back about to the point I made between the comparison with Gigi watching basically Bette ignore her on the laptop and Angie venting to Jordy because Jordy's running for prom queen and she's all in this social media and she is just me. Now what's interesting is last season Jordy seemed so supportive, would drop everything, and it just seems like now Jordy's like, this is my time, I'm dealing with my stuff. Yes, this is your drama, I will say a little bit about it, but now back to me. And so at the height of Angie venting, Jordy's on her phone saying, oh, our teacher liked my post. And, she's like, well, yeah, you dealt with all that, but now it's time to get back to fun stuff. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And what's so ironic to me is that that's exactly what Bette does to Gigi. So it's almost like her daughter's getting it in reverse, so Jordy is being Bette to Angie in a way. So yeah, I like that parallel. I thought that was really interesting. So I think there's trouble in the water, but they have these cute moments. They're a really cute little couple, but yeah, they're young and Jordy is right now, again, very self-absorbed right now. So, and I think probably being nominated as prom queen has probably gone to her head. So it's me. I don't have time to worry about your stuff. So it's sad, but again, they're very young. So it's a thing. So let's talk about Alice. So Sophie pitched her idea that she basically got inspired from Danny to do, where she wants to basically focus on everyday lesbians who fought silent battles in the past to be together, not just celebrities. It's very, very good. Docuseries, the segment is really cool. They had a sweet old couple that came on and talked about all the stuff that they lost to be together and what they sacrificed. But when you know, you know. And for some reason, we already knew Alice was struggling because Nat keeps texting her saying she wants to get back together and calling her, and she's ignoring it. But, after that segment, she decides to give her, Nat a chance. And under the guise of her having to ask her a question, she invited her to her place. And she had lobster and she had flowers. And I think she had flowers in her grandmother's, vase or vase, however you say it. And then Nat blew her off to go, I guess, hook up with somebody else. I don't know what she was doing. And, Alice ends up knocking down the vase, ironically, because she lied and said she was looking for the vase. That's what she covered herself. She was like, oh, I just want to know if my grandmother's vase was at your house or something. She ends up breaking her grandmother's vase, which is really sad because right as that happened and she's like having an emotional breakdown, Tom texts her and says, the publishers loved your book. And I'm like, such a mess. But let's be on the positive side here with Alice. I'm absolutely more certain they're exploring her bisexuality more and hooking her up with Tom. Number one, when they were at the beginning of the episode, they were giving each other little gifts. He gave her a pen because she's a writer, and then she gave him like this acknowledgement quote that she put in about, saying this is your best trick yet, because they talked about, how he was into magic when he lost his brother in the last episode. So very, very sweet stuff. And they, and both of them stressed just because the book is over, they are still going to be friends. So I was like, that is cool. And then later when Nat pretty much blows her off, which again, Alice, what the hell are you doing? Leave Nat alone. She's not worth all this. I mean, seriously. But she called Tom to come over and eat these lobsters. And he's like, I'm allergic to shellfish. But when Tom saw those shellfish and that scream, that was Chris Tucker Rush Hour stuff right there. I laughed so damn hard. That man literally cracks me up. But they decided to take these lobsters to the ocean to set them free at the beach. And then they start talking about, like, how Alice in the Dana chapter, how that basically was kind of cathartic for her, how that was her favorite, chapter. And she thanked Tom for helping her bring that out. And then the chemistry between them is just, they just have chemistry. I'm not going to lie. They have chemistry. And my favorite part is how dorky they both are when both of them realize they didn't take the rubber bands off of the lobster's claws. And they're like, they're going to die. And I thought that was really, really funny. And I loved how Tom said something along the lines of, well, their whole lives are dependent on the strength of these rubber bands. And I think Alice said something like, isn't that just like condoms? And I just died. I literally died. They are so funny. If there's one couple that is basically not even a couple yet, but the comedy relief of this series, it is Tom and Alice. Whoever thought this up, I am here for it. And I love it. But it's a thing. So let's go back to, or should I talk about the thing I've been trying not to talk about? Sherry came to the bar because Tess wanted to introduce Shane to the person she's been seeing. Very, very new. And of course it's Sherry. And we knew that's from the trailer last week. And since Sherry came, at first Sherry tried to play it off and just say, oh, Shane was my hairdresser. But Shane came clean and was like, yeah, we had an affair. You were married, Shane was like singing like a canary. But Sherry's like, well, I'm divorced now and I'm out of the closet and blah, blah, blah. So Tess is in her feelings. And Tess and Shane start talking about their relationship or their issues or questions they have, with each other by using what's happening with Finley and Sophie. So they're talking about Finley and Sophie, but they're really talking about each other. And even Shane was like, what the hell are we saying right now? And she's like, we're talking about Finley and Sophie. And I'm like, right. No, they were talking about each other. And Tess, they both are into each other and they just don't want to admit it. Tess is scared to be in with it, Shane, have feelings for Shane. And I get it because, hell, Shane even slept with Tess's girlfriend. It's Shane. Shane is notorious for that shit. I get that Shane's trying to be better, but, and is older, but it still happens, even if it's unintentional. But Sherry, she is literally a effing train wreck. I do not understand. I've never understood in series why, if you know a character is trash, why you continuously let them come into your life to mess stuff up. The first time they mess you over, that's it. Don't keep inviting these people back into your life. Shane has done this with Sherry. How many times? How many times did she do this with Sherry? She got rid of her. She broke up with her. She met Carmen. She got in her feelings when Carmen was flirting with these people at one of her gigs, and then won and slept with Sherry because she couldn't handle the jealousy. And it caused a lot of issues between her and, of course, Carmen. And it's just like all that stuff became really toxic. And now here we are, all these years later, Tess is bringing the same woman in. They invite her to the poker game. And most of the night, Sherry's putting her hands on freaking, Shane's legs and up her thigh. And I'm like, okay. And she's doing this and Tess is seeing it. And then she goes into the back room and literally goes down on, Tess, and then takes Tess home and then drives back to the club where the stupidest thing happened. Number one, Shane opened the damn door. Number two, she's letting the woman into the damn bar. That is dumb. So if they end up doing anything, that's on Shane, because that's just stupid. I'm sorry. That is absolutely stupid. Now, I know they're bringing her in for drama because let's be clear. This character has been nothing but drama, but that is just stupid to me. So, yeah, I was in my feelings about that. But again, we get it. We know that Tess and Shane are into each other and they don't want to admit it. Shane is a little bit more prone to say what she feels for Tess, but Tess is like, nope, put the brakes on. I can't be in a relationship with you because even though I'm attracted to you, and yes, I might like you and see good points in you, I don't trust you. And that is where Tess is. And I can't blame her. So yeah, that is a thing. So yeah, but the highlights of this episode, let's go over it really quickly and then we'll go over some comments. For me, Micah and Maribel finally got it on. Maribel initiated it, so excited. I did say that this was who he was going to sleep with in the premiere because I'm like, there's no way that was not going to happen. And in the trailer for season 2, he is running with Danny, and he does tell Danny that he slept with a woman. I'm glad that they're spending time together because Danny did say in this episode that she misses him. So we are going to see that. So I'm cool with that. The whole crap with Sherry is just I don't know why they brought her back. Again, I know they brought it for drama's sake, but it becomes very Jerry Springer whenever this woman is in scenes. So I'd rather they bring Helena back already and just like do away with this woman altogether. She is nothing but a train wreck. But I guess it's dramatic. It's a highlight. So I have to include the crap between her and Tess and Shane and what it's causing is all going to hit the fan. So it's a thing. I'm happy for Angie. I am worried for her and Jordy because I think that eventually Angie's going to snap and tell Jordy, I think you're being selfish and you're not being a good girlfriend and you're not paying attention to me. You're not even being a good friend. This is all about you and I'm tired of it. I need you to pay attention to me for a little while. So I think that is going to happen and it's kind of sad. So Sophie and Finley are just toxic as hell. There's just nothing to talk about. They're just toxic. I don't want them together. There's no point for them to be together. Sophie needs to find someone else and work on being faithful because let's be clear, everybody seems to cheat on this show for the most part. There are a couple that haven't, but everybody cheats. Everybody, I can say with full clarity, every character except for Tess. I don't know Maribel's best backstory, so I can't say her. So Tess. I mean, I'm struggling here. I think that's really it. Maybe Tom. Tess and Tom are the only two characters that have not cheated. Every character in this series has cheated. Sophie cheated on another person with Danny, which inadvertently means since Danny knows she was in a relationship with someone else, she was cheating too. Then Sophie cheated again with Finley because she is a serial cheater. And that was what it was. Finley basically slept with Sophie while knowing that she was engaged to Danny, cheating. Do I need to describe Shane? Bette's cheated. Tina's technically cheated. Oh wait, I guess Tina's fiance hasn't cheated that we know of. So then that's 3. But yeah, Micah even cheated because he knew that his ex-boyfriend was still married and still was sleeping with him. So yeah. Yeah, Bette actually did cheat in OG series. She did cheat on Tina in the OG. So sorry, that is incorrect. She did cheat in the OG series. But I just had to point that out. And so I thought that was really interesting that I feel like we can't even talk about cheating because everybody's done it so much. So it's like it's not even on the table. Nobody can point fingers at anybody now because everybody's done it and everybody's guilty of it. So yeah, That is a thing. And then again, Tom and Alice are they're just adorable. They're funny. They crack me the hell up when they're together. They really are a good comedy and a good pairing. They have great acting chemistry, and I love that. So definitely don't have a problem with that. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, like any other highlights. I mean, Finley and the girl in the bar, I guess. I don't know. But it's a thing. This is absolutely, for me, one of the best episodes of this season, because for me, it dealt with mixed, ambiguous people having entitlement when it comes to things like BLM, because we do. It does not mean that we can't be proud of our Blackness or whatever you're mixed with as POC. It just means that you will never understand what it's like when you don't look more Black or more POC, or you look completely ambiguous. So I really love that they included that in this issue, or in this episode, because that's not something I ever see. I never effing see that, guys. I never see that. I always see it go where, like me, women that look like me, my shade, a little bit darker, are put in the same, space where they have these BLM moments, and it's not true. Because I will get racism based on what other nationality or ethnicity you think I am, which isn't even true. But I will never have a BLM moment. I just won't. It doesn't mean that, again, I don't love my Blackness. It just means it doesn't affect me that way because I look like this. So props, LWORD, for effing saying what should have been effing said in all these other damn shows that have mixed people like me, and they act like it's not an effing thing, and it is. So just throwing it out there. All right, so now I did that in 31 minutes. What? I'm glad, guys. My voice. My voice. So let's go. I'm sorry. Hey Maria, sad news. Republic of Sarah was just canceled. I know it's not the place, but I thought you should know. Wow. It's actually not a bad show. I was going to review season 1, so that's sad. Just finished the episode and think it was fire. It was fire. Like I said, they made a lot of progression in episode 5. I was like, they definitely, like, I thought they were going to drag poor Micah's storyline out with Maribel for another couple of episodes before they finally cracked and did it. But I'm like, he actually got it on before Danny and Gigi. Go, okay, Micah, you do you. This episode was kind of for me. That's fair. I mean, everybody likes certain things. Like I said, I think what got me the most was what I just talked about, was the whole ambiguous thing. Next week, looks like the drama is coming tenfold. So I need to watch the trailer. It would not play for me. It was spinning. So I need to know what happens with that. Not Danny this time. I know, only being the other woman again between Bette and Gigi. Yeah, because technically I don't want to say unknowingly, because remember when she and Gigi first started hanging out, she said that, she was Bette's girlfriend. And then Gigi's like, oh, well, probably not anymore. But she said probably not. She didn't say definitely not. So Danny is not pretending. So if she hooks up with Gigi, because right now they're platonic, but if she starts hooking up with Gigi, then technically she is the other woman. But then again, can I really say that? What exactly are Gigi and Bette? Did they actually declare themselves anything? Bette let it slip that this was my girlfriend, but then she kind of retracted it later on. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell they are. So Bette's an anomaly. She's just an anomaly. Yeah, I think Danny might get hurt again. Yeah. But you know what, though? This may not be true. This actually could be a relationship that works. At least I like how perceptive Gigi was. I like how she was breaking down Danny, like how she uses her PR skills to basically mask how she's really feeling, and it's pretty much, she's internalizing everything and pretending that there's nothing wrong. And I'm like, yeah, that's Danny. So yeah, it's a thing. I think the storyline and the sex I like the storyline, the sex positive representation. Absolutely. Like I said, they are doing a great job this season with all of it. And again, I literally look for Micah in every freaking episode. I'm like, you better have Micah in this. We knew that that was coming with Micah and Maribel. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gigi is definitely going to hurt Danny. She's not looking for love and a relationship, just sex. Well, see, we don't know that yet. The only reason I'm saying that is she looked legit hurt that Bette was being a bitch to her and blowing her off. I feel like Gigi is a complex character. She puts on a front that things don't bother her, but at the same time, I don't think it's true. I think when she was telling Danny what she thought of her and how she deals with trauma and deals with her feelings was basically like talking to herself. To me, it's weird because Danny and Gigi are a lot alike as far as I'm concerned. And I think the longer we go in this season, you're going to see it more. They are very alike. And I don't think that Gigi is just this person that is just women hunting. You know, she's just trying to get the next lay. I really think she wants to be in a stable relationship. I just think, to be fair, this is going to sound horrible. I don't know Gigi's experience cheating on anybody else because we know she cheated on Nat when they were married. But Nat is effing crazy. I am seeing more about Nat that I don't like. Not condoning cheating. I really felt like if Gigi thought this marriage was weird, she should have got the hell out and divorced her. Maybe because the kids were there. She didn't want to do that. I don't know what it was, but I feel like you know when you're not meant to be with someone, like Danny said. And I felt like Nat and Gigi were also a train wreck. So I think Gigi just has not met the right person because she's attracted to people that are emotionally unavailable to her, like Bette. So that's the thing. I think Danny's gonna be fine. Bette don't want Gigi. She wants Pippa, but Gigi is messy. She's definitely cheated before. Also, I mean, hell, like I said, I literally cannot put anybody in this show on an effing pedestal outside of right now Tess and you know Sherry and not Sherry, Tina's fiance. And like Tom, because we don't really, the problem with side characters, we don't know what they've done because we don't get to see their past. You know what I mean? Carrie, I feel like Carrie's not a cheater. I don't know why. I feel like Rosa O'Donnell's character is not a cheater. I feel like she's just very insecure. But I can't put anybody outside of those three on a pedestal. I mean, it is not even fair to point fingers when all of them have effing cheated. Like all of them had justified in their minds that it was okay to sleep with somebody else while they were in a relationship. So I can't do that. I'm not going to do that with Gigi anymore. Or because I know when I first started thinking about it, I'm like, Gigi's not, you know, she's a flirt. I don't trust her. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? I could say that about every damn character in this show. And that's just the truth. Because once you cross that line, you're not trustworthy. You're just not. So it's a thing. Oh, finally, yes, she is treated badly. Finley is like, I feel bad because she's so naive. And yes, she's silly and she just does stupid crap sometimes. But at the same time, she's not a bad-hearted character. And they treat her like crap sometimes. And it's really sad. Especially since, you know, she went on that drinking binge and she stopped drinking and now she's weak again and she's drinking over Sophie, which is crazy. So, yeah, but I already knew going home was not going to solve her issues because they made it seem like last season that her parents and family, her sister and her family were homophobic. So I don't know what the hell she did in you know, Kansas City when she was home, but whatever. Why was this episode F for you? It was because it didn't really push the point forward like some scenes did, but overall it seemed more filler. Yes, Gigi is baiting her to see where it will go when she's upset with Bette. I don't know. I do think that there actually is a general attraction there. I mean, you can see it. Now, what her motives are with Bette, I don't know. I don't know how attached Gigi is to Bette. She wasn't the one that said that Bette was her girlfriend. Bette called Gigi her girlfriend. So Bette is actually baiting. Bette is using Gigi for sex to distract herself. That's not right. Bette doesn't get a pass for that. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. I call that BS. I think Gigi really wants Bette to care and she doesn't. It's almost like she's using Danny because Bette is in her own world and only sexes her but doesn't open up to her. Hell, I don't even think that Bette wants to be in a relationship with her. I think it's literally just distraction sex, which does not make that a good situation. And that also makes that extremely toxic. But has blinders on when she gets in her feelings. Oh, yes, she does. Yes, she does. Not sure I agree with that take. I think it might be more than a sex need for Bette. I feel it might be more of she doesn't want to be alone. Well, first of all, we know Bette doesn't want to be alone. She said it like a million times. But at the same time, not wanting to be alone and then basically using somebody for sex are not exclusive. It's like she is literally distracting herself with Gigi. Gigi is 100% a distraction. When she took Gigi to that museum and she was talking about art and she was in her zone and she looked over and Gigi's like, well, I just like staring at you. The look on Bette's face was, wow, I can't talk to you. You may be unintelligent. You're not on my level. Whatever. You're good for one thing and one thing only. And maybe I will tap that tonight or maybe I will not. That is literally where that conversation went. When Bette talks to Angie sometimes and she's in her feelings and she rages, you can see her like, we're done. Final. You were not giving a kidney up. We were done with this conversation. Bam. That is who Bette is. Bette is in control and she's a control freak. And that's why she's scared of being alone. Because she pushes people away. So, I mean, let's be clear. Tina talked Angie she talked her off the ledge and talked her to go back to therapy, not Bette. And Micah didn't let Bette go because he knew if he let Bette go, they'd just be screaming in the hallway. So, it's a thing. Maria, you really need to see the preview for next week. It can't really be explained correctly. Okay. I'll have to wait till after the stream because I don't want to play it during here and get a copyright claim. So I will try and see if I can do that. Yes, definitely remember when Tina was pregnant and Bette didn't even notice. Tina said Bette never sees what's right in front of her. Yep. Neo, it could be that too. Okay, I already saw that. Kit called Bette out on that, and Yolanda, that has been something we need to see with Bette's storyline. Absolutely. Too bad they killed Kit off and then now killing her donor off. Well, maybe not. Maybe Angie will be a match and the donor will, because what's interesting is that they've had all these meetings and we still haven't seen him. So that's a thing. Yeah, that's why I say Carrie will call the wedding off. I hope so. I want Carrie to turn it. I don't feel like Carrie deserves all the crap that Carrie is getting. It's sad. It is really sad. And the only thing Carrie messed up on is when she said, Bette is definitely into you. What she really should have said was, and you're also into Bette. Because it's obvious. Like that. Carrie knows what time it is. She does. She really does. For Shane to be the person she is, she's very dismissive of Finley. It makes me kind of side-eye her because Finley is such a people pleaser. Yep. And Shane just dismisses her all the time. Yeah, they treat her like she has no brain in her head. And I'm like, she is a people pleaser. She is somebody who doesn't want anyone to be mad at her. She wants to feel like she's useful. It's a sad effing experience and reality for Finley. I am not condoning what she did with Sophie. I'm not. She did not say no when Sophie kissed her. And let's be clear. If I have to pull up that damn scene, I will. Sophie kissed Finley first. And Finley said, what are you doing? And she kept at it. And they ended up sleeping together. Sophie initiated that cheating. But again, she's used to cheating because she's done it. So, that's her second time doing it. So, like I said, it's a mess. Bette and Tina have too much history, and I feel like all their potential partners are going to be insecure about that. Well, hell, the way they're acting around each other, I would be too. I'm like, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Gigi is a whole dang mood. Yep. Danny is now the big pharma pill pusher girl boss. I know. It's really funny. I wonder if Danny will be all wrapped up in that and not give Gigi attention like she did Sophie. Well, we both know that the one thing that Danny and Bette had in common was when they are focused on stuff or stressed, nothing else exists. So and they get really angry and really passive aggressive if you ask them anything. So they are very alike in that way. That's why I don't feel like Bette and Gigi could ever be a couple, because they kill each other. The writers should have just put Bette and Tina in a long distance relationship instead of breaking them up. They can't stay apart too long because they're soulmates. What I think happened actually is that Tina's actress originally wasn't going to come back. And then I guess maybe they talked her into it. So had they already known she was going to come back in season 1, I think it would have been something like them being together and working on their stuff. So, but it's the L word. It has to have drama. And if there is no drama, then, nobody watches it, I guess. I'm still in my feelings about Tasha. Where the hell is Tasha? Alice wrote a whole book. Is there a Tasha chapter? I need to know if there's a Tasha chapter. What the hell happened to Tasha? Because Tasha was with Alice when that series ended, and that crazy storyline with Jenny, who killed Jenny. And then there's nothing. Where is Tasha? Why did they break up? Did she go to the other girl she was attracted to? Where is Tasha? So I'm confused. Bette and Tina don't need to be together. They're toxic. They just have a child together and a lot of history. I agree. I'm a former Tia Bette. I think enough is enough of them. Time to move on. At this point, I mean, yeah, it's just pointless to try and bring up this whole I still love you, want to be with you crap, but I can't be with you. We're just too different. And you want things that I don't want and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, just stop. Just stop. Definitely toxic. History shows they can't stand to see the other loving someone else. As soon as Tina sees Bette with Pippa, I think she will want her back. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Tom and Alice are the male and female version of each other. They are. They really are. And that little scream, it was horror. It was funny. It was funny to say. He literally sounded like Chris Tucker in every movie he screamed at, especially Rush Hour. That was amazing. It was just amazing to me. Of course, she would end all of a sudden. She would then think Bette loves her. Yeah. Cherie is very shady, and Sari's always been very shady and sus to me. In general, she's just a sus person. She's not a good person. She's horrible. Cherie definitely needs to go. Absolutely. Tom can't stand to see Bette. Tina can't stand to see Bette with someone else more than the other way around. Bette tries to move on when Tina is seeing someone. Tina tries to ruin Bette's relationship to get her back. Yeah, I could see that actually. Sherry's trouble. Yep. Yeah, I think I already read that. Finley is still drinking, and it doesn't seem like next week it's going to stop either. Oh, absolutely not. Because you cannot heal yourself. She needs to go to therapy. Finley needs therapy. Going home to your family who are homophobic is not curing you. You just were acting a model citizen because you were home visiting your family, and they're extremely strict and extremely religious. And you come back to LA and realize that vices are still there. That she didn't heal anything by herself. Definitely that ends up leaving and hurting Bette again and again. I agree with that. She should have told Tess she knew Shane. She could tell she already knew, by the way. Sherry looked at Shane when she walked in. Yep. And she's like, she used to do my hair. I'm like, I love how Shane was like, really? That's what I used to do. Danny is the other woman. Yep. In a sense. But she was the other woman in her first relationship with Sophie. Yes, just Tess and Tom, and Bette hasn't cheated. Bette has cheated. So we're going to scratch Bette off the not cheating list and put her on the cheating list because she's cheated. She even admitted in this season she cheated on Tina. So yeah, she's cheated. I forgot. In OG, yes, but not Gen Q. That means nothing. I'm sorry. Just because it's years later does not separate the fact that you cheated. That she's a cheater. If you cheat, you are by definition a person who has cheated. I don't care if it was yesterday, 15 years ago, 3 minutes ago, you have cheated. So you cannot point fingers at anybody else. As I like to say on my channel, I call bullshit on that. I'm sorry. No, a cheater is a cheater, period. And even if she regrets it, blah, 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 it still happened. So she does not get a card. I'm sorry. Bette is not getting that card. I'm sorry if that puts people in their feelings, but I cannot sit here and give her a pass because she's done it. Doesn't matter the timeline, because as far as I'm concerned, OG LWORD and Gen Q are in the same universe. This is not a comic book. This is not an alternate reality. It is not a multiverse. She cheated in this on this earth, in this universe, period. She cheated. She gets no pass. She was having an affair with a married woman last season, so you are right. Forgot about that. The woman that was married to someone when she was running for mayor, and she wanted to hide it because of, the husband obviously didn't know, and the husband found out, and it caused a lot of stuff. You're right. She did cheat with that woman last season. So she's cheated twice. She literally cheated on her wife, and then she was the other woman. Yeah. Cheating is normal. At least in this show, it sure as hell seems to be. Let's see here. Sorry, every time I move down, it likes to jump up. Beth is innocent of what? I'm like, please explain what she's innocent of. I get they're not putting Bette and Danny together, but I would love to at least see them in some scenes. Yeah, I mean, Bette at the very least is a good work mentor for Danny. But again, we have seen in this therapy episode that Bette needs to seriously see somebody, and she's not going to. We already know she's not going to. They cheat us out of the aftermath, the Bette Gigi kitchen scene. Yeah, I know. Gigi tried that with Bette, breaking it down, and it didn't work. Yes, she was hurt. She's feeling bad. Yeah, like I said, I don't feel like Gigi is this cold, emotional person that just jumps from bed to bed. I really feel like there is a lot more to her, but you won't see it because she puts on this front, and it's the same thing that Danny does. The trailer seems to hint at the end of Bette and Gigi. She tells Bette that she doesn't think she'll find anyone to check all her boxes, and Bette says she thinks she's already found her perfect match. Yeah, and her perfect match is Pippa. Pippa. That's true, but Gigi checks these boxes: not married or straight, kids, and career. Yeah. You bring Tasha back. Her and Alice had nothing in common, but were perfect together. And that makes sense. Alice was really happy. I know. I loved, like, they just had chemistry. They had chemistry. Me and my spouse, we do have a few things in common, but not everything. You don't have to have everything in common with your person to have a good relationship. I know people that are complete effing opposites, and they work. They literally like fill in a void or a space in the other person that they didn't know they needed. So, I mean, not having a lot in common does not mean you are not a good match. You don't have to marry yourself. I'm just saying. So I really liked Tasha and Alice, and I love that Tasha could get Alice in check. Like, she didn't let her go off the whole deep end. I love that. So it's sad. Tina doesn't see what's in front of her either. If she has to tell Carrie Bette doesn't love her. Now she sees it. She's just in denial. She didn't want to see it. I get where it's Tasha, but Alice had hella lovers that could come back, lesbian vampires. Anyway, she did have a lot. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's see. Carrie tells Tina all the time that Bette's in love with her, but Tina doesn't even see it. Does she really know? Does she really not see it? Or is she just not? She doesn't want to see it. That whole relationship is tired. Like, I get exhausted thinking about Bette and Tina. It makes me want to take a nap. I mean, I'm just serious. It's just too much to process. And I feel so bad for Angie. I feel like Angie is really the only adult in that whole family. It's pretty bad. Now, Tina would have a reason not to want to stay with Bette, and we would be dealing with her feeling like she wasn't getting space from Bette. Of course. Absolutely. Bette's big old cheater and Alice. Of course she is. She cheated on Jordy with Tina, even though Jordy wanted to be open the entire time. But Bette was like, hell no. Yeah, she was a hypocrite and a cheater. Like, yeah, Bette's cheated. I mean, she should get a t-shirt and said multiple cheats. That's why when she was like getting pissy with Sophie, I'm like, really? And even Shane was like, you cheated too. I mean, you can be pointing fingers in this room. So at least Shane's real about it. I thought you were talking about Gen Q characters, but I forgot about her cheating with Felicity because Felicity is forgettable to me. Yeah, but you can't forget characters because they are side characters or they are big deals. But again, Generation Q and the original LWORD series are in the same continuity. So just because it happened in the OG series does not retcon it for Generation Q. Those events still happened when, Angie was with Shane and Shane was talking about how she left Carmen at the altar. That was OG LWORD. That means they are very much affected by everything that happened in the OJ series. Everything with Dana was the OJ series. So you cannot take this whole series, all of these seasons of the LWORD, and just throw them out because you don't want your favorite character or a character that you relate to not be seen as a cheater. That's not how that works. Bette is a cheater. I need you to come to terms with this. I need you to understand that that's what she is. I know that LWORD might not be the best show for it, but does anyone else want a COVID storyline, or is it just me? Yeah, I don't know. The problem with them doing a COVID story is then we would get even less, well, depending on who you want to hook up, we would get no hookup scenes. We would get no makeout scenes. It would be very interesting. But at the same time, it would be great. Since they're so good at talking about realistic issues and the social climate, it would be nice to see them talk about COVID. But to be fair, where I live, they act like COVID doesn't even freaking exist anymore. So maybe that's where they're going for. And that also is true to life. So I don't know. Bette cheated 3 times on Tina with Candace, with Tina on Joe, and with Felicity. Yep. She did Sophie like that because she cares about Danny. Bette always takes up for her friends. She's loyal to her friends. True. But again, you can't be a hypocrite with it. You can take up for somebody and say, hey, I don't appreciate what you did, but don't act like you've never done it. That is just not how that works. I hate when characters get on their high horse for something that they've done not once, but repeatedly. So yeah, it is what it is. The LWORD couldn't possibly do a COVID storyline completely. So no, I like LWORD, LWORD. Alice did say the only person she loved other than Dana was Tasha, but I want to know what happened to Tasha. I want to know what happened. Nat is such an annoying character for me now. I don't care about her. I don't care if she ever comes back. She's just not. She's not. I mean, she wasn't really that interesting to begin with, and now this whole polyamorous thing, which again, I'm not trying to knock anybody's lifestyle. But I feel like her stuff is just weird. And I still did not appreciate her basically comparing Alice's acceptance of her to her bisexuality. Because in the way she was saying it, she's like, it's just like your bisexual identity. It's like, no, polyamorous and bisexuality or pansexuality are completely different things. So that I was still in my feelings about. Nat is so funny and a little crazy and dishonest. Yeah, she's just, like I said, I mean, even with Micah kind of profiling him as having all the trans clients, it's a thing. It is a thing. I need Alice to get the hell over Nat, and I need Sophie to find her own life and Finley to let that shit go and find her own life. Maybe this girl will be good. Maybe you'll find some other girl. Again, I really like Finley with I think her name was Sarah, but it could have been Rebecca or something like that. The priest, or from last season. I really thought they had a really good chemistry at first, and I really would have liked to see what they did with that, but they didn't do anything with that. The priest moved on, and Finley ended up sleeping with Sophie, and I was just like, oh, my feelings. If Tina tries to go back to Bette's, they need to have Bette's address Tina on the fact that Tina has left her and her multiple times. Oh, they need to have. There's no way to sift through all that crap. There's so much baggage between Bette and Tina. There's just no way. There's no way. I don't foresee that resolving, but I do think it makes for very good, dramatic Jerry Springer-like entertainment, which is kind of what this is. So we'll see. But all right, guys, it is late. Thank you for being in this stream with me. We're exactly at an hour now. My voice is going out. If you didn't know, one of the things I do voiceovers. And so I've been straining my voice a lot with auditions and jobs. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm having issues keeping my voice going because it is so burned out. So I need to go on vocal rest. But please continue this conversation in the comments because I love your theories. I love your opinions. I am not going to get upset if your opinion is different from mine. So please tell me what you think in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? What do you think is going to happen by the end of this season? I want to know what you think. So again, let me know. Also, guys, if it is evening for you, have a very good night. If it is day for you, have a very good day. And again, thank you for being in my very late stream for the L Word. And I will see you in our next video, which should be on Saturday. All right, guys.